Welcome back, you guys. My name is Sarah. I am known as Carnivore Yogi over on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel and clicking on today's video. This is part 3 in a 5-part series helping you get started on the carnivore diet if that is something that you want to do. Today, I'm going to talk to you about supplements on the carnivore diet. So before I jump into that, my typical disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, nutritionist, or expert. I am simply telling you guys my personal experience and relaying experience of people that I've talked to over the last 2 years on YouTube and Instagram. However, I will link below this video in the information section a couple of experts that can work with people one-on-one, nutritionist, doctor, to help you if you need extra help and support. So don't be afraid to reach out and get the extra support. But today I'm going to talk to you about supplements on the carnivore diet, which is a highly controversial topic, I guess you could say. A lot of people that are looking to do a carnivore diet are really trying to do this whole ancestral thing, and they're saying, I shouldn't need any supplements if I'm having this nutritionally complete diet. And unfortunately, we come from a society with extremely depleted soil. And guess who's eating the soil, the grass? Would be the cows that we're also eating, ingesting. And so it's not just black and white. Like, you're going to get everything you need from your meat. If this is your first time watching my video in this series, go back and check out yesterday. I do talk about getting a hair mineral test analysis to check your mineral levels, because some of you guys may need a little bit more nuance and a little bit more support when it comes to electrolytes. And this is the one thing, the electrolytes, that I do believe everybody needs when they're transitioning over to a carnivore diet, keto diet, any diet where you're taking out the carbohydrates, because the carbohydrate allows your body to hang on to water. For every gram of carbohydrate that you eat, your body will hold on to 3 grams of water. So initially, when you start the carnivore diet, you may have a big whoosh, you may lose a lot of weight. It's water because you're depleting your glycogen stores. But it may feel really good to get rid of a lot of that inflammation. So when you're losing all that water, you need to replace those minerals, because the minerals are also leaving with your body. So the first thing that I recommend people is to get a very good salt, like a Redmond's sea salt. You can also make your own Soleil water, which I'm going to have a video coming out next week about how to make your own Soleil water. I believe my dear friend Nutrition with Judy also has a blog post about how to make your own Soleil water. It's S-O-L-E if you're curious. But I do highly recommend that if you're starting this carnivore diet, that you do have a good salt with minerals in it, like a Redmond's sea salt. So check that out. I will link Redmond's below if that is something you want to get. It's an affiliate link, so feel free to follow that link if you want to support my channel. If not, no big deal. But that, I think, is very, very, very important. The other thing that I mentioned on day 1 of this series is that a lot of people have very low stomach acid, and they're not going to be used to digesting this much meat and this much fat. They simply don't have the stomach acid to digest it. So an HCl supplement, which again I will link below this video, could be very helpful to take like 1 capsule at the beginning of each meal just to get you started. And you may need to go up with that, you may need to go down with that, but that's a temporary thing. I had to do it for the first 6 weeks when I switched over to a high-fat carnivore diet, because I could digest the meat, but I had a hard time with the fat. Okay, so the HCl supplement could be very helpful. The other thing, and that I also mentioned on day 1, was gallbladder issues. You have a gallbladder issue if you're trying to eat. Typically, it's fat. It's your body having a hard time digesting the fat. You may get some right side pain. You may get nausea, and sometimes the nausea doesn't happen right away. It might happen in the middle of the night, like wake you up nauseous. That was my experience when I went to really, really high fat ratios to kind of help with my hormones and my thyroid and all of that, which it did work very, very well. But that's a gallbladder issue. You may need to add some ox bile, again, at the beginning of your meal to go along with the HCl. And it's not that there's something inherently wrong with the carnivore diet and that you need these supplements. It is simply the fact that our bodies, when we are eating a standard American diet, we're not eating a lot of fat, a lot of animal fat. We're not used to digesting this much protein, a lot of us, and definitely not this much fat. So once you get going, I don't need any of these supplements. I never needed ox bile. But I did have to take HCl for 6 weeks when I first went to a high-fat carnivore diet. So if you're having a lot of diarrhea, a lot of indigestions, or even constipation, this could be gallbladder, it could be stomach acid, just something to take a look at. Your microbiome is going to make a huge shift as you go over to a carnivore diet. So some people who've been on a carnivore diet and try to reintroduce foods, there's a way to do it. But if you're having diarrhea, indigestion, constipation, it's part of that process of the microbiome shifting over, and you may need some support. On that same token, I do also think that some people can benefit, and this is new for me, this is new as of 2021 for me, that they may need some probiotic support. And this is, again, highly debatable. I'm having Kirian from Microbiome Labs on my channel this month, so make sure you're subscribed, and he'll be an interview that I'm doing this month to talk more about gut health. And a lot of us come to the carnivore diet because we have poor gut health. And so adding in some probiotic support will hopefully, for a lot of you guys, it has for me, speed up the gut healing process. Now I have a relationship with Thrive. I will link them below, but what they will do is send you a box that you send them a fecal sample, right? You send that off, and they're actually going to give you a full detailed report of the state of your microbiome, the state of your gut, and then they will formulate a probiotic for you based on that sample. So again, not necessary. You may not need to do this right away. It may be something that you do 6 months or a year into carnivore if you're still having gut issues, if you're still having skin issues, if you're still having trouble sleeping, just something to take a look at. The last thing that I'm going to recommend, and this is not a complete list for you guys, these are just a few things that I see helpful for people when they're first getting started, is going to be a magnesium spray. So, and I'll link the one that I use below this video. So just at night, taking an Epsom salt bath, that's very, very helpful to, and most of us are magnesium deficient anyway. So important that if you're magnesium deficient or not. You can get that through that hair mineral test, because a blood test is often not going to be accurate in letting you know really how mineral deficient you are. So the hair mineral test is very, very helpful. But a magnesium spray is going to be absorbed through the skin, and if you do have gut issues, a lot of times you're taking a magnesium supplement, but it's not going to be absorbed into your gut because your gut is not sealed up. And it could cause more issues for you to be popping pills, popping supplements. So I love taking an Epsom salt bath at night and then spraying my legs with magnesium. That's another thing my dear friend Nutrition with Judy recommends. But that could be very helpful for you with that magnesium issue. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Again, not a complete list. Make sure you're subscribed so that you can get my next video in this series, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks again. Bye.